So today we'll discuss how to add people to your event. The sponsors, the speakers, attendees, exhibitors, and artists. So it's important to understand how you can add and set up the sponsors of your event to make sure they get the exposure they deserve. So let me show you a good example of a sponsor page that has been set up already. Oops, that's the event here. And then let me bring up my screen for you 1 second. Alrighty, right here in the Our Sponsors tab. So in here, you can see that there are different levels of sponsors listed, right? And notice that the main sponsors at the top have the biggest logos displayed. So there's two, Google and Meta. And then we have the lead sponsors in the middle with still pretty large logos. And at the bottom, we have the innovative sponsors level with, a bit smaller logos right here. So let's take a look at the control panel so I can show you how you can add a sponsor and how you can set it up like this. So from here, we're gonna click the mobile icon on top right and then open up the view control panel. And then on the left hand side menu, we're gonna click um, our sponsors and then our sponsors subtab. So for the level or category of sponsors, you can actually have up to 8 sponsor levels. So having that said, only the sponsor levels that have sponsors added under them will show on the event side, meaning the blank levels like these will not show up, right? And you can rename each sponsor level by clicking the pen icon right beside them. Uh, just like that. And you can also set the size of the logos for each sponsor level, starting from small all the way up to double XL, which is ideal if you have some sponsors with bigger names in the industry. And of course, to make sure you um, save your changes, just click on the save changes or save button rather. Now, to add a new sponsor, you would click the plus icon on the top or the one that says add sponsors. So in this window, by the way, is also where you can rename the sponsors role. So by default, it will just say, sponsors, but for this event, we have renamed it to our sponsors. So when you'd like to rename this, you're going to click the rename button here, and then you would type in your new preferred uh, name for the role itself. Now, going back to adding a sponsor, so you would enter the sponsor's name here under the name field, let's say YouTube. If you have other details of the sponsors like the email and website, you can put them in here as well, including the bio or a description for the sponsor you're adding. Now, to upload the logo or the photo of the sponsor, you click the photo button at the bottom, and you click this upload button here, and then select the logo or the photo from your computer. You can also choose to crop the logo as well to make sure we're maximizing the just the logo itself at the middle. And make sure to hit the accept button before you hit add so that the image will be saved first like that. So now we can click on the add button. So by default, um, it will be added to the regular sponsor level here at the bottom, but you always have the option to move the sponsor to um, another level. So let's say we move YouTube to lead sponsors, which is now showing up here. So now if we go back to the event side and give it a quick refresh here. There you go. You can now see the newly added sponsor that we just um, added, the YouTube one. And yep. So right below the sponsors, going back here in the control panel, is where you can add your exhibitors, right? So um, from here, you have the option to group the exhibitors to either featured exhibitors. So you can put them on spotlight a little bit or just under the regular exhibitors here at the bottom. Right, so similar to how you add sponsors, when you click the add exhibitors button on the top right, you can also rename the um, role itself. For instance, you'd like to rename it as guest instead. You can do that just by typing in the new name of the role and then hit save here on the side. Give it a quick refresh. And there you go. It's now saying featured guest and the regular guests level at the bottom. Just please note that both sponsors and exhibitors are available in Boost and Premium or Ultra plans rather. And then moving on to speakers now by clicking the speakers tab on the left menu and then choose speakers sub tab. Um, you also have the option to group them to either featured speakers or the regular speakers at the bottom. So to quickly add one speaker, you click the add speakers button on the top right, just like that, and then you enter the profile info from here. Oscar, my email address, gmail.com. Now, if I know the company position and other profile info of the speaker, I can do that as well. If not, that's perfectly fine as the speaker can also update their profile info once they log into their accounts. So if you have the photo, you can upload the photo from here, from your computer. and hit the add plus send invite button if you'd like for the speaker to get added and at the same time receive the welcome invite. Otherwise, you can just hit the add button to just add the speaker for now, as you have the option to send out the invite later on, which I can actually show you right now. So for instance, um, this is speaker here. Let's see if we can. Yeah, so you click on the speaker's profile and then go to message subtab where you have this send invite now button. So this will send out the invite to this particular speaker. But if you have more speakers or other people you'd like to send out the invites to, you can do that in bulk as well by going into Communications tab and then Messages. So in here you have you'll see this banner, in this case saying 16 people haven't received a welcome invite yet. So you click the select people invite button here, and you can toggle on the roles that you'd like to send out the welcome invites to. Now, going back to adding speakers real quick, where, aside from adding them individually, but in most cases, you would want to add speakers in bulk. So you can save time, especially if you have tons of speakers to add. So to do that, I'm gonna again hit the add speakers button in the top right. And then this time we click the download spreadsheet button here. And that would give you the speaker spreadsheet. Let me go ahead and open it up for you here and switch my screen. All right, switch to Excel. Okay, there you go. So um, please note, by the way, that each role has its own spreadsheet template. So make sure to download the corresponding spreadsheet for the people you're adding. Meaning, if you're adding speakers in bulk, you'll have to download the speaker spreadsheet, and if you're adding and add your speakers in there. But if you're adding attendees, for example, you'll have to download the uh, attendees spreadsheet as well to add your attendees in that particular spreadsheet instead. So let's take a closer look at the speaker spreadsheet to understand how you can, save time and make sure you'll have a successful upload. So the first 5 rows on the top should be so you should not be changed to prevent unsuccessful uploads. So the column headers here and anyway are not visible publicly, so just keep them as is. And you can start adding more speakers at the bottom of the list. So right here. So let's say Bruno Hoffman is going to be our speaker. And we'll just put in no email for now. Password, by the way, is only intended if you'd like to assign a password for the user on their behalf. Also, only applicable if the profile is new to Sched, meaning if the email address hasn't been used in any events before in Sched, right? And you can also put in the company, the title, and other profile information, which are optional, by the way, because again, once the speakers logged into their accounts, they have the ability to update their own profile information. But if you have the profile image uploaded somewhere on the web, you can paste the image URL here. And at the last part is where you can assign a tag to the speaker. Let's say in-house, something like that. Because now tags are only visible to event admins. You can associate people with tags and you can use them later on when searching for speakers or when messaging group of attendees according to their tags. So once you're done adding the speakers at the bottom of your spreadsheet, you would save this as ideally as a new file, just so you have, a backup or reference of your previous speakers, just in case you need to look back. And then save. So now we can go back to the events control panel. Let me switch my screen one more time. There we go. Let me just give this a quick refresh just to make sure. All right, so now we can go ahead and upload our updated session spreadsheet where the new speakers are added. So we click the select a file option here and then choose this updated speaker spreadsheet. And we click the upload button. So at this point, you have the option to uh, send out the invites to them at the same time, or by toggling this on, or keep it off and hit finish import. As again, you can send out invites later on once you're actually ready for the speakers to log into their accounts. Right? But aside from adding speakers, we also have the new feature, um, the call for papers, right here, just below the speakers subtab. So this allows you to easily create and manage forms for collecting session proposals from potential speakers. So this streamlined process simplifies the submission, review, and selection of speaker proposals. So you click this call for papers portal button and it will take you to the CFP portal itself, where you can see two columns here, forms and applications. So under forms is where you can create your new form, you know, and once created like this, you can copy this link to share to your network or post to your event site or even your own website if you have one. So you can start collecting speaker submissions. So once you have submissions came in, you can manage them in here under the applications tab on the left. So as an example, This is a test submission from a speaker, which you can from here review the submission, and you can update the submission status from here. And then we also have the artist role. So it's supposed to be this one that says AI booth. But for this event, this is actually a good example of how you can repurpose a role in your event. So instead of adding or saying artist, we renamed the role into AI booths, but you can tell that we're on the artist section by seeing the artist URL here on the top. So especially if you don't actually have artists to be listed to your event, so might as well make use of it for something else that's actually beneficial for your event, right? So similar to exhibitors, you click the add artist button on top to add new artists or AI booths, which you can also group them into two, featured and non-featured at the bottom. But lastly, once you're ready to get your attendees involved, you can then start adding them, especially if your event isn't open for sign up from the front end, or if you're collecting attendees registration using another platform, or just simply need to manually add some attendees. So this time we're going to go into the attendees tab on the left, and then click on the attendees subtab right below it. So this is where you can add your attendees. So to add them individually, you click the plus icon on the top, and then you start typing in the name of the attendee here. Jason Chase, and then the email address, say attendee. So if you have more information for the attendee, you can actually click this extended fields button, and you can fill out the other fields for the attendee that you're adding, which is again optional, as they also have the ability to update this on their end. So you can also choose to either just add the attendee for now, or add and send out the invite at the same time. So I'm gonna hit just add for now. And then to add them in bulk, like in chunk, we can also use the spreadsheet, but of course we need to uh, download the actual attendee spreadsheet to make sure we'll get a successful upload. So we click the plus icon again and hit the download spreadsheet button. Oh, there you go. Let me open it up here real quick. Attendee. And switch my screen again just one more time. All right, perfect. So kind of similar to how we the add this add a speaker from the spreadsheet. So we're gonna add more attendees to starting from the bottom of the list here. Let's say Christine. Here and email address. Let's say hello, 01 email.com. So if you have the company, position, location, and bio for the attendees, you can add them here as well, including the website URL. And for the link to image file, so if in case it's uploaded somewhere online, you can put in the image link here so that it will be attached to the attendee's profile. And there we go. Under tags is again where you can assign tags to the attendees. Let's say VIP, oh, VIP. And lastly is the ticket key, which is by default in read-only format. So this basically will tell you what tickets that the existing attendees currently have. So once you're done adding the attendees from here, you're gonna again save the updated spreadsheet as a new file. And then we're gonna go back to our events control panel. So we can now select our updated attendee spreadsheet to upload it. And again, you have the option from here to send out the invites at the same time or just finish importing and then send out the invites later on, right? Just please note that the attendees will show on the attendees directory page are only the ones who have their profiles set to public, meaning if the attendee profiles are still private, which they are by default, they will not be showing up on the attendees directory yet. All right. So those are our topics for today. We're now ready to take on your questions. So please go ahead and post them in the chat or in the Q&A section, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. And while we're waiting for questions, I just want to share a quick overview of the topics that we're going to go through tomorrow, day 5, which will be adding sessions individually and in bulk as well. Also, pinning a session, how to freeze sessions, brief batch enroll, and session tagging. So make sure to join the next webinar too, so you can optimize the maximum potential of your events. Alrighty, well, there's no question right now in the chat, so um, but I'm sure you'll start to get questions as you play around more with your event. So feel free to reach out to us at support@sched.com so we can take further steps from there.